is kind of a method to the madness. I'm not stressed. I'm healthy panicked. This is just not possible. I can't do this. I can't do this in the amount of time it's going to take. Come on, brain. Well, we are 9 days away from the Dollhouse Miniature Show. I am going to try to film a vlog on my phone here, so this video might be a little lower quality on video and sound, but my regular camera is up there. It's all set up because I'm having to film kits and I'm filming some other videos, so I figure if I'm actually going to do a getting ready for the Dollhouse Show vlog, it's going to have to be on my phone. I've got several things in the works. There is a group project that my guild is doing back here. I will be making a separate video on that, so don't worry, that will either have already gone up or be coming. I don't know at this point. I am also working on the 1930s kitchen room, which actually is going to be my focus for today, because if I want to sell them at the Dollhouse Show, I have to finalize that kit so that I can produce several of them on the lasers. Speaking of lasers, you might be able to hear one going on in the background right there. I have been basically running it every single day, trying to make enough kits to fill up my table. I have a clipboard somewhere. Hold on, let me go get it. Here is a clipboard with all my kits and even future kits, and I have several of them marked done and several of them not. So I've been working on this for a couple weeks now, but it was pretty boring as far as like vlog content goes because I was really just running things on the laser, putting them into packages. So I will show a little bit of that with some of the kits that I have left. I've also been trying to organize the boxes that I take the kits to the show in, so I will show you that when I get to another box. But yeah, for today, I am mostly going to be working on the 1930s kitchen room. I'm not stressed. I'm healthy panicked. If I only had 3 days left, yeah, I'd be super stressed and I'd be cutting some things out of what I needed to get done. But I am just healthy panicked, realizing that there's a lot to do and not very long to do it. So let me show you what's going on in the studio. It'd be a little bit louder, but you can kind of see that I've got machines going and running and making things for me. So that's kind of nice, actually, that some other things are making things for me. You can see some of the cuts in there. And this is what we're cutting. Some 1/24 scale fireplace rooms. Here's the 3D printer, printing some pots and pans. And yes, I really need to vacuum out the bottom of the 3D printer, but it has also been going non-stop for a while now. This is my shipping and packing station, but it is currently covered with accessory bags. And over here we've got some more kits. These are the 1/24 scale sink sets. I've got most of the 1/12 scale done, so that's why you're seeing 1/24 scale in the studio. And there's the boss making sure everything's running on time. Are we on schedule? Are you being good? Yes, you are. Yes, you're being very good. Oh, thank you. So it's kind of a mess around here, as you can probably see. There's stuff everywhere, but there is kind of a method to the madness, and hopefully it will all come together in the end. By the time you get to the end of this video, you will know. I do not know at this moment if I got everything done, but you will know. So I am going to work a bit more on the, come on brain, kitchen room. And then I'll let you know how it's going. I introduced this room to you in the sink video. I showed you a hand-cut, roughly put together replica of what I wanted this room to look like. So once that was done, I could start putting the room into Tinkercad. This is a free online program that allows me to make things in 3D. And this also helps me figure out how many layers of cardboard I need and what the exact size of the pieces need to be. Then I take it all apart, I lay it flat on my work surface, and then it can be exported as an SVG. This allows me to put it into the laser cutter so that I can reproduce this room for my store. So I just go SVG when I go to export, and this will export it as a bunch of shapes that I can then laser cut. So here's the result of that. Not only did I cut the cardboard to create the walls and all of the architectural pieces, I also cut out some poster board pieces. These are going to help me put the wallpaper on the walls. If you put straight paper onto cardboard, it'll do this dimpling look, and it just doesn't look very nice. So covering the cardboard with some poster board makes it look very flat, and you can't even tell that the room is made from cardboard. So before I put any of the walls together, I'm going to go ahead and do the wallpaper. It was fun to try and figure out what wallpaper to do because this is a 1930s room. I went with some muted greens, browns, and anything that really spoke to me after looking through several reference photos I found online. So once the paper is glued to the poster board, I can glue it straight onto the cardboard and there won't be any dimpling that happens. Some of these walls are walls for like 3 different rooms, so I had to think through how this was going together before even gluing the wall in place. I'm also working with limited scrapbook paper because I didn't want to spend too much, so I'm trying to put the sides of the paper together at places where it's going to be covered by a wall piece. I'm also reinforcing it with hot glue as I go along so that I know the walls are really, really strong. This area is going to be covered by an elevated floor, so I'm putting in some beams. I'm not going to show you the whole building process. Actually, I'm going to zoom through it pretty quickly, but I wanted to show a little bit of how I was putting this together. Later on, when it's available in my store, I will put out a full building video on my kits channel. Here's what I've gotten done so far on the kitchen room. Just last night, I first put some of the furniture in, and you may not have seen this table yet. I made a removable leaf table and made chairs to go around it. I'm going to lighten up the yellow. It's a little bit too 1960s yellow, and I want more of a 1930s yellow, like the sink in there. But this is how it's looking. This is the laser cut version, so you can see how smooth, if my camera will focus, you can see how sharply cut this is. This is cut by laser, not by hand. And as I go along, I make these little notes to myself so I know how to change it in the program if it's not fitting quite right. And then I'll put it together again once I cut it again, just to make sure that the final product is as perfect as possible. But because I wanted a showpiece for the show, I had to go ahead and wallpaper and start getting it ready. So the next thing I need to do is I need to make trim for these areas. So I'm going back to the computer because that's the way I'm going to be able to do that. So to the computer we go. For your convenience, I skipped the computer filming part, but these are the pieces I made to create the trim for around the open archways and the doors, and also for the windows. I tried to make them so that they would fit on the mat board the best way possible to reduce the amount of paper I had to use to cut them, but I do feel like they need to be included in the kit because trying to match these archways perfectly by hand would be really annoying. I also covered all the edges with poster board. Even though this does have a ceiling, I decided to have it as a display. I wanted the ceiling removed so you could look straight in from the top. I wanted to have carpet in the dining room, so I found this upholstery piece in a fabric store, and I decided to use the edge of the fabric, you know, where they keep it from fraying. I decided to use that as kind of like a little rug going across the top step. So I really like how that came out. So this is the final finish. I did do some Mod Podge over the walls and on the floor. It did lump the paper a little bit. You may not be able to tell on camera. Everything else kind of laid back down on the wallpaper, but the floor did have a few little lumps and bumps from the Mod Podge. Then it was time to paint all the little pieces that were going to be displayed in this room, because ultimately this is a display for my table at the show. And I also repainted the table and chairs. So it's a few days later. We've learned a couple things. I'm not great at vlogging, and I also hate painting millions of accessories, but we'll get to that. I have 4 days left now. It took me quite a while to work on the kitchen room, which I will show you kind of a final look of how it came out. It took me a while, but I wanted it to look really good because it's a backdrop for some of the kits that are going to be on my table. These are some of those kits, and these are ones I've had in my store for a while, but they will work in a kitchen room. But yesterday I just was painting tiny things all day, so I really didn't take much video of that at all. After this kitchen room is done, I still need to finish this one project back here. I'm hoping I can do all of that today, finish my projects so that really the creative miniature making part of everything is done. And then tomorrow I can put up a table, put up everything so I can see what I have and work on my display. I promise I will vlog that part, and I will show you some of the organization I've been working on when I put my kits together, so you can see that before we go to the show, which will be this Friday. It is Monday. It will be coming this Friday when I go and set everything up. The kitchen room was a huge goal of mine, so I'm really glad that I stuck it out and went for it. Because there was a moment where I was like, this is just not possible. I can't do this. I can't do this in the amount of time it's going to take. I did decide that I'm not going to be able to produce them and sell them at the show. I wanted to make the kitchen room box a kit in itself. And my kits go through a pretty rigorous quality control process, and I just wasn't going to be able to do that. And I don't want to put out kits that aren't up to the level that I want them to be at. So it's going to be at the show so people can see what's coming, but it's not going to be available for people to purchase at the show. So I had to kind of make one change in the plans, but it stopped me from having some anxiety attacks about not having time to do everything. So I think it was worth it. Now it's time to put in all the tiny things. I tried to get as much done on my list as possible. There were still some things that didn't quite get done, but I'm happy with what I did get done, and this moment of putting all the pieces into the room, it was just so satisfying to see them slide in place, to see the entire vision come together. This little dining table kit is currently available in my store if it's something you're interested in. I will put a link down in the description box below. It was really fun to create this so that it has a removable leaf and can be made into a smaller table. After all of the big pieces were put in place, it was time to put some things on the wall and find places for the smaller items. And this did give me the opportunity to cover up some of my painting mistakes, such as this brown paint I got on the wall can be conveniently covered up with my cat clock. I painted this clock a yellow similar to the table and the sink so that it hopefully brings the two areas of the room box together. I also have a plates and utensils kit in my store, which I made around the time I worked on the Beetlejuice dining room. And so I was like, oh, I have to set the table and I want to do this permanently so I don't have to set all these little nice forks and spoons out every single time. So these are glued down, and you may notice that I am missing a spoon. That is because I sneezed. It went flying, and it's just, I can't find it, and I'm not making another one, so my display will forever be just missing one spoon. To show off my 3D printed frames, I just used a couple different sizes that I had in stock in my store, and then I framed some older pictures that I thought you might be able to find in a 1930s room, and then hung them around in some of the blank spaces on the wall. I think they blend in pretty well. Immediately after I finished working on the kitchen room box, I had to finish up my spider room, which is a video I've already posted. I will link that in the description box as well. And then after that, I had to clean everything up because I had just created utter chaos with both the kitchen room and the spider room. You'll know if you watch the spider room video what I'm talking about. There were spider webs everywhere. And so I had to pick up. I had to take that time to clear my space, which I feel also helps me clear my mind so I can start focusing on the next things I needed to do. Today I need to run out and do some errands. So I'm not even putting makeup on or earrings or anything. I'm just running out and getting the things that I need. This is Tuesday and the show is on Friday, so I want to get those errands done early so that I have everything that I need and I'm not panicking at the last minute. So I'm gonna grab my keys and go do that. One of the things on my to-do list was a new lockbox, because my current lockbox, I have lost the lock. So it's just a box now. So I'm about to go into Office Max, see what they have. Hopefully something not too expensive. No lockbox for me today. That's okay. This video is not going up until after the show, so no one will know my lockbox is not locked. But I will have a locked one for next year. I also just went into Home Depot and I got some more of these hooks, which I need to put on the pegboard to hold some of my stock. So this was a success. Here is the table all set up. This is pretty similar to my last way that I had things set up. I'm just having to print off some new like signage, like this TV is new, and then the dining table is new, and what else? Oh, the sink. The sink is new, and so I was printing off those. And then the 1/12 kits will go in here, but I'm going to reprint these with the prices on them because when I used these last time, people were still asking for the prices because I have the prices up here with the samples, but people weren't always looking in both places. So I'm going to reprint these with the prices so they know exactly what the price is while they're looking through here. But this is a great way for people to just kind of have their hands on the kits. And everything's kind of covered, so I'm not too worried about them getting damaged or anything. It's just kind of all over the place, but this is about to get all packed up, and then I am going to, I actually have two tables. This is a 6-foot table, and then I'm going to have another 6-foot table. That table is going to have my room boxes on them. It's going to have this room box, and then, oh, hello. Hello, how are you? So I'm going to have those displayed out here with the fireplace room, and just some signs that says what kits are shown in each diorama. I did take a couple pictures of my room box setup. So as you can see, I have the fireplace room at the top. I have a gingerbread house that's coming out this year, and I have the kitchen room box over on the left. I am going to be boosting that up on top of a box, so it's a little bit more eyesight level, but this was my general plan for my other table. Part of my list today is to kind of pack things up as I get them done so I can get stuff out of this room and in a pile of to-go things. So it'll be like, this is ready to go, pack it up and get it out of here so that I can see what's left. So that's one of the major tasks. It's going to be one of the next things I do, is pack things up and move them out. And I can just slowly like mark things off. I'm like, okay, I have that, that's packed up, that's completed. And then I don't have to think about that anymore. It's not in my brain anymore. It's out of my sight, out of my room, and ready in the pile that's going to go into my car. So. Here's just a quick look at how I generally put my kits together, no matter whether they're cut out of cardboard or cut out of mat board. I like to make many at the same time, and then I make piles on a table and put the instructions, any accessories they need, or any other pieces. Because this one is going to be a gingerbread house, I'm adding some icing bags just for some convenience. And then they will be grouped together into some kind of container. These help protect them whether I'm shipping or whether they're on my table, so that they're not getting a bunch of oils from people's hands on them. Then I can add any of the stickers I need to add that have the title, any warnings. This one has a warning that says laser cut cardboard is sharp, so watch out for paper cuts. And then after that, the kit is complete. Now the gingerbread house isn't in my store yet, but it will be before the end of the year. Really quickly, I wanted to show you some of my box organization. I use these file folder boxes to keep all my kits organized when I take them to the show. So these are two of the most organized. I don't have them all completely organized, but this was something I started new this year. Because I have so many different ones, I decided to label the top and both sides, so there is a similar sign just like this one on the other side. So no matter how the box is sitting, I know what is in here, especially when I need to refill. So inside, whatever is on here has been portioned out into these cardboard sections, and I have laser cut some of these file tabs so that they fit perfectly in here, and then they are hot glued. You can kind of see the hot glue right here holding it in place. And I sectioned them out so that they fit perfectly whatever kit is in there. So this is the captain's desk and chair kit. So the amount of kits that I take to the show fit perfectly in here. This one is the wall safe. That one fits in here. This one is the dining table. So the dining table is a smaller kit, so it doesn't need as big of a space. It also comes with an accessory bag, and I keep the accessory bags separate because the plastic could possibly dent the mat board, so they need to be stored separately. So that's why there's this partition between here. And then this is some chairs, and these are some accessory bags for these pieces back here that don't have room for it. So that's how I section out the box so that I'm organized and know how to find things when I need to refill my table. This one's a little bit more straightforward because all the kits are the same size. They're all 8x10 kits, so I just have them sectioned off. And then these are the file folders that go onto my table, so they're just easy to pull out and put in place. So they're just sectioned out like so. And as I'm working to fill the box, I can just add more kits in, and then I can come in and easily run through and take inventory. So that's my process at the moment. I'm working to get them all that organized, but I'm pretty happy with the progress I've made so far this year. Beep. 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 Ah, you got my foot. You got my foot. Oh, okay, thank you. Today is the day of the miniature showcase. It will be the preview night tonight. So I've gotten everything packed up. I think I'm about an hour ahead of schedule. So, and that's with everything being done. So I think that's a record for me. I don't think I've ever had everything done before I left the house. I would bring like tools to like finish things up at the show. So maybe next year I'll be 2 hours ahead of schedule and slowly I can like build up this cushion. But I've got quite a few boxes packed. I will show you what I have packed. Mr. Technology has run some errands for me, so that's nice that I didn't have to get out and go do that. Although it does sound like I've been hearing some thundering and I haven't been hearing lightning, but I've been hearing some thunder, so it might be raining today. So I grabbed a garbage bag and put it in my purse in case I have to throw it over something. I think if there was an award for the person with the most cardboard, I would win. But that probably applies in most cases, not just at the miniature show. But I don't want it to get all soggy and ruined, so hopefully it doesn't rain. But if it is raining, maybe it'll be a little bit cloudy and it won't be as hot trying to get things into the hotel where the show is happening. Hopefully I can show you a bit more when I'm at the show. I'll show you how my table is set up. And yeah, so I'm gonna make sure everything's ready and then I'll be on the road. It's all packed up. Time to drive to Dallas in the rain. Once I got to the hotel and into the sales room, I found my table and immediately started setting up, and I didn't even think to set up my camera, but this is how it ended up looking. So you can see the difference from when I was just laying things out in my studio to the final results. I'm pretty happy with the layout, and I do feel like putting the kitchen room box on the end really drew in a lot of people to take a look. One of the things I now realize I need is some lighting. Even though the lights in the room were really bright, having some dedicated lights, specifically lighting up my table, would have really brought in some more eyes, I think. I have my half-scale kits shown up top because they are so small. It's easier to have them up high, and then I have all the associated kits on the pegboard. And then, of course, my file folder system with all of my samples. Those are also up on some boxes. As soon as I empty out a storage box, I can actually use it as more display space on my table. So I just put it up underneath the tablecloth. And here's all of the kits in the file folders. I did hear someone say they really liked the organization. I have the prices on there. So overall, I do think this was a good idea and really worked out for helping to explain what is on my table. And here's just a tiny glimpse at the size of the sales room. I also took video of my spider room box and the rest of my guild. They used the same box that I designed, and I will link my spider video below if you want to hear a little bit more about that, but I will show their projects individually on the screen now. I think it's really fun when a group does something that has a very similar base, but then they just add their own ideas and they come out so very different. So it was really fun to see what everyone came up with. In the same room where our group display was, there were some other items that were being displayed by other artists. Really, anyone who wanted to could bring something that they had created, leave like their name tag so they knew who it was, and show it off. And this one was created with my fireplace room box. I love this little Christmas room with so many tiny bears put inside of it. And I really like how they made the roof so different and allowed a lot of light in there. And the only other clip I got was of my lunch. So they fed us pretty well. Well, the miniature show's over. I vlogged hardly anything, so sorry about that. I don't want to get a bunch of people in the video that maybe feel uncomfortable being videoed, but there were quite a few tables. There was a lot of people, so I didn't even get around to go and shop and actually see what everyone had. I just kind of like did my run around the around all the tables just to kind of see a few things. I did get a few items, so even though I didn't show you a bunch at the dollhouse show, I will show you my haul, and but I won't do that till I get home. I got everything packed up on my table. Everything's back in boxes, and just going to chill tonight, probably get some dinner, have a good night's sleep, and then head home tomorrow so that I can do other things, I guess. Now that the show's over, I'm like, what do I do now? Oh yeah, I have projects that need to be done. Oh, I will put in kind of a scroll from the Dallas Miniature Showcase Instagram so that you can see some of the other people that were there, and you can kind of see their business names, and you can see some of the items that were there, because I just am not good at going to other tables and video their items, but there's quite a bit of stuff on there, and I will link it in the description if you want to go over and get a better look at some of those items and see some of those companies, because there are so many talented people that come to the Dallas Miniature Show with just amazing items. So definitely check it out if you want to see more. I also wanted to say thank you to all the amazing people that came to see me at the show. I got to give out so many hugs and hear about your projects, and I also got to meet Sean from the channel Dolphin Magic Pro. He is the one that made the captain's chair, and we've talked for a few years, I guess, and he came down to the show, so it surprised me that he was going to be there. And so that was just a really fun thing to get to meet some of you and see you in real life outside of internet world. I'll tell you a little bit about the show. It went really well. I monetarily did a lot better than last year, which I was really grateful for. I was actually kind of towards the front of the sales room, which I'm usually in the back. So that was really nice that they switched me, and I heard from somebody that they do that. They'll switch people around just so, you know, regular people who come to the show have a chance to be in different locations. They might catch someone's eye being a different area. So I was really grateful for that. That was really cool. I had a few things, two things sell out. I had the fireplace room sell out, which that's always been one of my best sellers. But I thought, you know, people, you know, it's kind of an old kit. Those who already wanted it probably bought it, but no, I only took 8. I should have taken more than that. But thankfully, because I have the online shop, people can shop there. The other thing that I ended up selling out of were frames. I sold so many frames, and frames have never really been a big seller for me on the store or at the show. I don't know what the difference was this year. Maybe just a lot of people have art to frame, and that's totally fine. I'm going to quickly show you my haul, and my voice is not matching my lips right now because this is a clip from a Patreon video where I went through the haul and talked for a very long time. So I'm just going to show you an overview of some of the items I got. I went for some more big ticket items this time. I didn't get as many small things. I went for some bigger, more expensive things that were artisan made. One of them was this little bat that was crocheted by a woman in Germany, I believe, and that's going to go in Pubert's nursery as soon as the Addams Family house gets back to my home. This small magazine rack holder was so cool, and this was by Details Miniatures. I also got this 1/44 scale Victorian cottage kit, and I'm excited to put that together. On another table, I found a couple frames for the captain's quarters, so I'm going to have to find some room for those. And this one I just thought was a cool frame and could maybe go in something in the future. I had to pick up some bread. Bread is amazing, and every project needs some bread. I also found this little chair, and I just really liked the carved wood. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but I just was really attracted to this little chair for $8. I'll probably reupholster it, but I thought it was pretty cool. And of course, I had to pick up some earrings. There were some miniature food earrings, so I got a couple pairs of those. I'm all set for Thanksgiving and any event with donuts. Anyway, that is my haul. That is what I purchased. I, again, was just kind of speed walking, which was probably good because I got quite a few high dollar items and I really didn't need to shop anymore because I didn't want to spend, a ton of money when I'm actually there to try and make money for the business. But these items will be going into one of my projects for the business, so it's kind of a balancing thing. Anyway, that is my haul. That's my little update on how the show went. And yeah, I'm excited to get back and get working on a bunch of stuff. I've got a bunch of stuff coming up and I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to jump back in, and this break was really good to be away from the projects for a little bit, long enough for me to go, I really want to work on my projects again. So I'm like getting a little bit antsy. Speaking of my projects, do you remember this one? It's bigger than I remembered. That was the cardboard house, and when I completed that project, I created a poem story that went along with it. And one of the main comments I got on that video was, this needs to be a children's book. Well, I'm very happy to announce that now it is. I have published my first book on Amazon, and it's so fresh it even still has the not for resale on my copy. This is the proof copy to make sure that everything looks good, and it does. Yours will not come with this band if you decide that you would like one. I worked with the incredibly talented Amanda Gatton, and she has really brought the cardboard house story to life. The pictures are beautiful, vibrant, and even feature the cardboard house. At the end of the book, I talk a little bit about the project itself. So if you were part of this cardboard house journey, or you know someone who you think would really enjoy this book, you can check it out on Amazon. I will put the link in the description box below, and I will probably be talking about this more in future videos, just so anyone who's interested is sure to see it. And I will make sure to show it again without the proof line across the front. I also need to make sure and shout out Amanda's books. Amanda makes these little paper world books with 1/12 scale paper doll accessories. This one is the Gothic and Halloween Dollhouse collection, and there's just so many things that you can cut out, like these little books. So I will put a link to her books as well in the description box below. I've been working on that project for so long. Well, Amanda has been working on this project with me for so long, and I'm so thankful that it's finally here and I can finally share it with you. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the journey of the kitchen room box and the Dallas miniature show. It was kind of here and there all over with the video clips I took. I hope it made some kind of sense. Thank you so much for going along on the journey with me. I'm excited to get back to my projects, and as I speak, there's a giant one sitting in front of me that needs to be finished by November. So stay tuned, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. So, not good at vlogging. Oh, I never put laundry into the dryer. I have nothing to pack. Sorry, that was really close to my face.